frame that included the Nazis. And I don't think that we should be speaking within the frame that includes the Nazis. I don't think he meant that either.
It's not helpful.
But
what he's saying is true.
Yes, what he is saying is true. But the framing of it is obviously British irony, but it does lend you to being vulnerable from attacks from uncharitable people who will say, see, he's saying he's a Nazi and the Nazis just got it wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not what he's saying, obviously. He's saying that, look, just because the Germans are mental doesn't mean that we can't love our country. Small mistake there, but again, it takes a very uncharitable reading to give that interpretation. Anyone who is familiar with Douglas Murray will be like, well, he's not a Nazi, so he's not in support of the Nazis. Yeah. So anyway, one thing that I did like was Matt Goodwin's speech. I like how understated Matt Goodwin is, because if you actually read what he says, I read his entire Substack, it was really good. If you actually read what he says, it's quite radical, actually, but he presents it in a very moderate and temperate way.
Well, that has to be the strategy. I mean, you speak us both here as sensible centrists, of course.
Very much.
That has to be the strategy.
Yes, absolutely. But I'll just read a quick quote from it. The people got a Conservative Party which had failed. They got a party which no longer knows what it is or what it wants. They got a party that still thinks it's living in 1988 rather than 2023. They got a party so obsessed with rehashing old arguments about economic freedom that it's failed to realise that many voters are also crying out for cultural